Welcome to this deep dive explainer. Today, we're tackling something that's going to totally flip how you think about your daily grind. I mean, think about the African savanna for a second. Picture the undisputed king of the jungle, the lion. If you've ever watched a nature documentary, you've probably noticed something kind of crazy about this massive predator. The lion, which is literally just an absolute powerhouse of muscle and instinct, actually spends the vast majority of its day doing absolutely nothing. It sleeps, it rests, it lounges around in the shade. So why in the world does the most dominant creature in that entire ecosystem spend up to 20 hours a day practically motionless? Keep that exact image in your head because honestly, it is the absolute key to completely rethinking our modern approach to productivity. Seeing that really forces us to ask a pretty uncomfortable question about our own daily habits. Are you working super long hours but catching absolutely no prey? In our modern hustle culture, we basically wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. We sit at our desks for 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours a day, just staring at screens, answering this relentless, never-ending stream of emails, and just grinding away. But hey, if we're being completely honest with ourselves here, how much of that time is actually productive? How often are we really just spinning our wheels, deeply fatigued, and catching zero prey despite all that time we're putting in? The contrast is just staggering. Think about the typical sluggish worker, and maybe you felt like this recently. I know I have. You're drained. Work turns into this slow, exhausting, never-ending marathon where your energy is basically just leaking out. You're left operating at maybe 40 or 50% capacity all day long. It's just a dull ache of perpetual busyness. But then, contrast that with the lion. The lion doesn't do busy. No way. The lion is either in a state of profound, absolute deep rest, totally disconnected from the hunt, or, when the moment arrives, it unleashes this terrifying, explosive power, using literally every single muscle fiber to secure its goal in a matter of seconds. There's no in-between. There is absolutely zero sluggish half-effort. Okay, let's dive right into this. Part 1. The lion-style way of living. So where does this come from? We're pulling this core concept from Chapter 6, titled The Effect of Holidays, originally published way back in the August 1989 issue of Monthly Happy Science. It makes a brilliant argument. Those drawn-out, endless hours are actually the ultimate enemy of high-quality output. To truly perform at our peak, we need to take the biological rhythm of that apex predator and map it directly onto our human work habits in 3 specific phases. Step 1, deep relaxation. When a lion naps, it isn't stressing out about yesterday's missed zebra. It is fully 100% resting. For us, that means taking our holidays and downtime incredibly seriously. Then, step 2 is target identification. The lion scans the horizon, picks a specific, high-value target, and zeroes right in. It doesn't waste energy chasing every single distraction. And finally, step 3, explosive action. When it's actually time to work, the lion commits entirely. It uses absolute, total physical and mental force to take down the target as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, in Japanese, there's actually a perfect word for this dynamic: Merihari. It essentially refers to that strategic rhythm and the sharp, undeniable contrast between different states. So the crucial point here is this: maximizing your time efficiency and your productivity depends entirely on maintaining this strict boundary. Think about it. If you blend your rest with your work, like if you're checking work emails while you're supposedly relaxing on a Sunday afternoon, you completely destroy the Merihari. You ruin the rest, which in turn completely destroys your ability to achieve that explosive action on Monday morning. You absolutely must protect that boundary. Moving on to Section 2, work as a calling. Now, we're going to transition from this biological metaphor into something a lot deeper. Because, you see, adopting the lion's rhythm isn't just a simple productivity hack so you can finish your paperwork faster. It fundamentally ties into the philosophical core of why we even work in the first place, and how we really need to elevate our entire approach to our daily tasks. We're moving into the concept of viewing work not just as some chore, but as a genuine calling. From the text, The Heart of Work, 10 Keys to Living Your Calling, we learn that working like a lion, reserving your energy, protecting your downtime, and striking with that explosive precision is ultimately about conserving energy for your soul's true purpose. Seriously, if you drain yourself with sluggish, low-value work all day, you literally have absolutely nothing left in the tank to dedicate to your true calling. This philosophy teaches us that preserving our energy through deep, restorative rest is what allows us to bring a profound, impactful focus to the work that truly matters. Let's move to Section 3, conditions of a super elite. Let's see how this builds because we're shifting our focus now to look at what fundamentally separates an exhausted everyday employee from what the texts describe as a top-tier, super elite professional. It's one thing to understand the lion rhythm in theory, right? But it's a whole other ballgame to embody it as the absolute standard of your professional life. Now, what's really interesting here is how, when we look at the themes in The Heart of Work alongside Work and Love, we see this massive, powerful thematic alignment. Just like a compass symbolizes navigation, direction, and purpose, both of these sources emphasize that a true professional doesn't just work hard. They work with ultimate passion and strategic direction. They know exactly when to rest the compass and when to follow it with unyielding, explosive energy. To really grasp the stakes here, we have to look at one massive, incredibly provocative question pulled straight from the source. Are you risking your life for this work? Do you feel it is your calling? Wow. That demands to know if you are bringing that lion-like intensity to your profession. Because if you're constantly exhausted from sluggish, disorganized, drawn-out work, you couldn't possibly answer yes to this. No way. You can only risk everything and pour your absolute soul into your work when you're operating from a place of fully restored strength. Which brings us to part 4, reaching your peak condition. So, what does this all mean? How do we bring this high-level philosophy back down to earth? How do we make sure that when it's time to answer that calling, we actually have the explosive energy required? Well, it essentially comes down to actively engineering your life so that when the moment to strike arrives, you are the absolute best version of yourself. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact actionable steps we must take to completely transform our daily output. First, prioritize deep rest. Treat your holidays and your evenings as completely sacred. Seriously, do not compromise them. Second, eliminate sluggish hours. If you catch yourself just staring blankly at a screen, step away. We have to stop normalizing that low-energy grinding. And third, apply explosive focus. When you finally sit down to accomplish a task, eliminate all distractions and attack it with every single ounce of your intellectual and creative muscle. We've definitely covered a lot of ground in this explainer today, moving all the way from the savannah to the absolute highest levels of professional calling. But as we wrap up, I really want to leave you with a thought that I hope stays with you long after this is over. Will you just continue the endless, exhausting grind, wearing yourself down for minimal results? Or will you reclaim your energy, master your rhythm, and hunt like a lion today? The choice is entirely up to you.